People who were in a coma, what the fuck did you wake up to? In the 90s, my great-grandfather had a stroke. He was in a coma for 3 weeks, and when he woke up, he couldn't speak English. He could only speak Choctaw. He learned it when he was a kid because his family lived near a Choctaw reservation and he played with a lot of local kids. He spoke the language fluently at the time, but he had forgotten it for his entire life, and by this time he couldn't remember a single word. This went on for about 10 days, and then he woke up from a nightmare and was suddenly able to speak only English again without remembering a single Choctaw word. He could also repeat verbatim every conversation that had taken place in the room while he was in the coma. Whoa, brains are amazing things. If I'm not mistaken, there's a guy who started speaking Cantonese after a coma and ended up hooking up with a Chinese woman. I was in a coma for 4 days. When I woke up, everyone was talking about my baby. I had lost my long-term memory and did not even remember that I was pregnant. My son was at the Children's Hospital in the neonatal intensive care unit. I delivered him by cesarean section at 29 weeks. It was all related to Crohn's disease. I found out about it after I woke up. My colon ruptured during pregnancy. My husband said I talked like a baby when I first came to. When I woke up, I felt very tired, and for the next few days I was still a little anxious. I remembered a conversation my mom had with the nurse while I was passed out. A couple days later, my long-term memory came back and I remembered everything up until my second surgery. My son wasn't born until my third surgery. Edit, my son was what surprised me. Is your son okay? Yes, he weighed 1 kilo 474 grams, and now he's 18 years old and 195 centimeters tall. Thank you for asking. I was in a coma for 9 days. When I woke up, I was still on a ventilator. When I was disconnected, my body did not remember how to breathe on its own. I literally had to relearn how to do it. It took me a few days. I didn't have a natural sense of how long or deep to inhale, how long to hold the air, and how long to exhale. I had to direct all my concentration to my breathing. It was really scary. Edit, for all the people who were wondering how I slept. I didn't sleep for the first couple days. If I dozed off, my oxygen sensor would start beeping and wake me up, and then the nurse would yell at me across the ICU to remember to breathe. I couldn't talk because I had tubes in my nose and throat, but I remember waking up one day very tired to damn beeping. So I started concentrating on breathing again, but it really pissed me off. My nurse would run up and yell at me to breathe. I looked at her and yelled in my absent voice, "Yes, breathing." She must have read my lips and sensed the outrage because she just held up her hands and said, okay, good job, and then walked away. In common, share this because I've never had this opportunity before. My ability to breathe normally came back to me after a month or so. My health is fine now, so I wouldn't say it had any permanent effect on me. Well, thanks, now I'm watching my every breath. Don't forget to blink, asshole. You ruined the next 30 minutes of my life. My mom was in an induced coma for 3 months. When she woke up, she thought the hospital was trying to kill her. She tried to get out of bed and fell on the floor because she couldn't walk. Mostly she was scared because her legs had lost their shape. Had to relearn how to control every muscle. She couldn't speak properly at all and had learned how to write. After relearning, she had a different handwriting. She said she hated how perfect her hands looked. Her nails and cuticles were perfect and clean from not being used in any way. I remember trying to brush her hair after she woke up. Almost all of it fell out. She almost died every day she was in a coma. She had sepsis from diverticulitis after a botched surgery. Most of her hair grew back and she can walk, but she has brain damage that makes her look very groggy. She's always dizzy, but it's been 5 years, and her recovery could be called a miracle. A good friend of our family went into a coma for 6 months. Eventually, when he woke up, he was dumbfounded that his wife looked so old. He had actually lost the last 15 years from his memory. He knew he had 2 kids, but they were babies and he didn't even know about his 3rd child. The memory never came back. He jumped from no cell phones to smartphones and laptops. Everything was new to him. Stuck in the early 90s, but actually being in the 2000s, he had a lot to learn. But learning that you forget your kids' growing up moments was the hardest for him. This is the saddest story I've seen in this thread. Oh my god, it's creepy. He must have felt it was punishment for something terrible. And if you liked the video and you want to see such videos more often, put a like and write in the comments on what topic to make a video next time. Bye bye.